Okay, like I said, inequalities does get a little bit trickier, and here's an example of it. So all the last ones we did were solving linear inequalities. That's stuff without x squared. So what about if we've got something along these lines? We've got to solve x squared plus 5x plus 6 is greater than 0. Now the way we solve quadratic inequalities, without question, every single time is we sketch them. So we're going to sketch y equals x squared plus 5x plus 6, and we're going to find out where our graph is greater than 0. So sketching quadratic is something that we should have done in one of the earlier lessons. So I know it's going to go through at plus 6, to say there. Then we're going to make this equal to 0, so 0 equals x squared plus 5x plus 6. So factorise that, we've got x plus 3, x plus 2, which means it's going to go through at minus 2 and minus 3. And it's a positive quadratic, so therefore it's going to be a smiley face, and you don't need to be crazy accurate with this, it's just a sketch. And so it looks like that-ish. Now I want to know where my graph here is greater than 0. So we can see that this bit of the curve, that's positive. This bit here is where it's less than 0 because it dips below the curve. This bit here is positive, and this bit here is positive. So this bit here is when x is this side of minus 2. So that's when x is greater than minus 2. And this bit is going to be positive, and that's when x is less than minus 3. And so the way we write that is this thing or this thing. And we tend to write that mathematically as x is greater than minus 2 using the set notation, or x is less than minus 3. So that's that one. Let's see how they get harder. I mean, the whole thing is now we've done all the harder work itself when we've sketched the other quadratic inequalities. Let's see how we do that, and let's have a look at a couple of examples. So I want to know where x squared minus 5x is less than or equal to 0. Now this one, when we factorise this, and there's no number on the end, so this is just one bracket, and we take x outside, so x bracket x minus 5. So if I say that equals 0, if I'm going to sketch this, it's going to go through here at x equals 0, and this one at x equals 5. So 0 and 5. We know that it's a positive quadratic. It's going to look like this. And I want to know where this one is less than 0 or equal to 0. So this here, this little bit of it, that is where it's less than or equal to 0. So beforehand, if it was greater than 0, there are two bits to the curve, so that's why we had two separate inequalities. Here, it's now just one bit of the curve, which is below 0. So we can say that when x is between 0 and 5, it's below 0. If we have a look at this question, it says less than 0 or less than or equal to 0. So therefore, I've got to put less than or equal to there and there. Because at 0, the curve touches 0. At 5, the curve touches 0. So that's that one there. We got one more of those questions. So this one we've got to solve minus x squared minus 3x plus 10 is greater than or equal to 0. Now here we know it's going to be a frowny face. It's going to be an upside down parabola, but it's a negative x squared. We know that it's going to go through at 10. So how do we find out where it goes through the x-axis? Well, we need to set it equal to 0. So I've got minus x squared minus 3x plus 10 equals 0. Now, of course, what you can do is try and factorise this. However, as long as we know that it's going to be a negative parabola, then I'm going to move on to this side to make it a positive x squared. So if I move everything onto this side, I've got 0 equals x squared. Move this over to this side, I've got plus 3x. Move this over to this side, I've got minus 10. So sketching that, or factorising that, we'll get x plus 5, x minus 2. So therefore it's going to go through at minus 5. And it's going to go through at positive 2. And remember, the top of the curve doesn't go through at 10. It goes past there, so it's going to look like that. So our negative parabola is going to look something like that there. Now what we want to do is we want to know where our curve or our negative parabola is greater than 0. Well, here, look, it's below 0, so ignore that bit. Here it's below 0. But there is one bit of the curve here where it's greater than or equal to 0. And that's in between minus 5 and 2. So when x is between minus 5 and 2, then our curve is above the x-axis. So that's how you solve those ones. Good luck with that worksheet.